Hi everyone, so this is my persuasive speech and it's going to focus on zoo animals and why animals do not belong in zoos. So, do you remember walking through the entrance of a zoo and having to decide where to start first? Debating whether you want to visit the tiger exhibit, feed the goats, or hit the gift store was probably the hardest decision you had to make during your visit. I'm sure it was probably a nice and memorable experience for you and your family, but have you ever stopped to wonder why those animals are placed in zoos and how they are affected by being placed in a zoo? Do you remember the feeling you experienced when you couldn't wait to visit your favorite animal exhibit just to get there and find the animal sleeping or hiding out somewhere? The problem that I will be focusing on and want to bring your attention to is the issue regarding the confinement of zoo animals. In other words, animals do not belong in zoos, and I'll explain why. They aren't meant to be held captive behind a glass wall for children and adults to stand there and bang on the glass to try to get their attention. I understand that it is nice being able to experience the presence of such beautiful and exotic animals, but they are meant to live free and in their natural habitats. There are many reasons why animals do not belong in zoos, and I'll explain some of those reasons as well as what we can do to help those animals by giving you all some background information on the animal's lifestyle inside and outside of the zoo. So, many people fail to realize that these animals are more than just a form of entertainment. I am an animal lover, and just like many of you, I have also been to a zoo when I was a child and even as an adult. I visited the zoo for enjoyment and failed to see the big picture. I think it is important for everyone to understand the position that these animals are in. Most, if not all, of the animals that we come across when visiting the zoo are wild animals. Tigers, lions, giraffes, elephants, monkeys, and zebras are just a few of the animals that we come across during our visit. These animals come from different parts of the world and are encaged for us to see. According to the Vegan Spot, zoos and other similar institutions are unnatural to wild animals. They are essentially prisons for these animals. The animals in captivity are confined to artificial and insufficient living spaces, given no privacy and deprived of the mating and hunting behaviors that come naturally to them, which are the things that are most desirable and necessary to them. Because they are placed in such environments, these animals are exposed to a variety of risks. Author Bridget Renaud states that zoochosis is an obsessive, repetitive behavior that many zoo animals exhibit. These behaviors include pacing, circling, self-mutilation, and vomiting. These behaviors are experienced by many animals in captivity, but not by the same species that are seen in the wild. Clearly, this illustrates animals in captivity are not thriving. They are struggling to survive and displaying unnatural behaviors to prove it. So, why are animals being captured and brought miles and miles away to spend their lives in an artificial environment? Now that you have a basic idea of where I'm heading with this, I will now explain some of the reasons why animals are placed in zoos. So, one of the first reasons why animals are held in captivity is for the purpose of education. When you think about it, anyone who is learning about animals should understand the importance of how important it is for these animals to live in their natural habitats. Here are a few words from Jeffrey McCurry regarding the confinement of animals. Anyone who appreciates an animal's intelligence comprehends the physical and mental pain it feels to be in a cramped, boring enclosure and senses the gulf between the life it was made for and the tiny world it is forced to inhabit. Another reason why animals are placed in zoos is for their role in conservation of these animals. Zoos present the idea that they are built and work towards keeping animals safe from extinction, but that isn't true at all. If anything, animals that are placed in zoos are exposed to a variety of risks. Animal protection isn't the main goal for zoos, money is. A government-funded study of elephants found that 50% of elephants showed behavioral problems during the daytime. Zoos cannot provide the amount of space that animals have in the wild. This is often the case for those species who roam larger distances in their natural habitat. Tigers and lions have around 18,000 times less space in zoos than they would have in the wild. Polar bears have 1 million times less space. This takes us back to the issue of zoochosis that I mentioned earlier. Entertainment is another major reason for understanding why zoos exist. Remember Harambe? For any of you that aren't familiar with him or his story, Harambe was a gorilla that was held at the Cincinnati Zoo and unfortunately killed after a child made his way into the enclosure and came in contact with him. The reason why I bring up this specific situation is because Harambe acted as he would have if he were in his natural habitat. Harambe wasn't the only animal killed while at the hands of the zoo. There is a reason why you don't see people in the middle of the jungle, forest, desert visiting these animals for entertainment. We cannot expect to change the way that these animals behave or respond when they are placed in a zoo. They are meant to roam and live freely. And I actually have a picture of him that I'm gonna pull up. It's one of the most popular pictures that I'm sure many people came across when everything happened. So there you go. Okay. So because of entertainment and education purposes, as well as the need for conservation, animals will continue to make their way into zoos in every state if we do not bring attention to this issue. Education is the most important when it comes to making a change. Having proper knowledge about the topic is the first step in bringing attention to the issue. We need to focus on restoring and protecting their natural habitats so we can keep these animals far away from cages. Reed Noss, a professor at the University of Central Florida, states that conservation problems take many forms, therefore so must solutions. That said, because the loss, destruction, and degradation of habitat is the major cause of extinction, crisis driven ultimately by human population growth and overconsumption of resources, the protection and restoration of habitat for native species is the most important thing we must do to save these species. Animals, for example, elephants, tigers, lions, and giraffes are meant to roam freely within their natural habitats. These animals are not meant to be confined behind a wall for the purpose of education or entertainment. Every year we see more and more animals placed in zoos, and because of this we also see these animals suffer from health issues, injuries, and even death. There are many things that you can do to bring attention to this issue. Next time you think about visiting the zoo, remember to keep in mind what these animals go through on a daily basis, and that there are many things that you can do to keep these animals far away from cages and glass walls. Okay, well that is my speech. Thank you for watching.